Max Tucker. They get radio, TV, and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app for Android and iOS devices. Coming up, Chief Director of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources refutes claims that government engages the services of land guards to assist in reclaiming encroached lands.
It's unfair, and I personally take a very strong exception to that because I never mentioned this term land guard.
Also, NPP leadership to involve presidential aspirants in the compilation of special electoral college register after National Executive Council meeting today.
Yes, they will be informed. We have very critical stakeholders in this election. We intend to have a very clean and transparent election.
In business,
some commodity traders warn proposed import restriction on rice and chicken could result in price hikes and food shortage. We've got details on the Joy Business Report.
And much later in the bulletin, the roofing system set to make rooms cooler to minimize reliance on air conditioners.
So the aim of the research is to try to design a roofing system that would reduce drastically the heat that is transferred into the indoor space.
And that's on Tech Thursday. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson. Details coming up shortly. The Chief Director of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Professor Patrick Agwesinyale, has refuted claims that government engages the services of land guards to assist in reclaiming encroached lands. Appearing before the Public Accounts Committee, Professor Agwesinyale denied the allegations. On Monday, July 17, the MP for Tamale North, Alassane Suheni, accused the government of engaging the services of land guards for the retrieval and protection of government lands. He made the allegation based on statements allegedly made by the Chief Director of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources during a meeting with the committee, but the Chief Director is denying it.
I think a very strong exception to that reportage, actually. It's absolutely not true. We don't use land guards. We use the official security forces services to reclaim government land, if need be.
The news out there is that you said something. You're saying that you haven't said it. What did you say that they misinterpreted?
What exactly I said was that the ministry since 2012 had contracted a company called Aniok Holdings. And this company actually is engaged in reclaiming land for government.
You had Chief Director of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Professor Patrick Agwesinyale. Now, the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, is taking a hardline stance against universities offering unaccredited courses. Deputy Director General of GTEC, Dr. Ahmed Jinapo, has characterized the practice as treasonable. Checks from GTEC website shows that some universities are running as many as 120 courses with expired accreditation. Dr. Jinapo says the decision by some universities are treasonable.
For the fact that you've applied for accreditation does not mean you are going to get accreditation. And this is the way forward. This is what GTEC is going to do. Starting from this week till next week, we are going to start publishing all centers, programs that are run by various institutions that are unaccredited, and caution the general public from sourcing those programs. If it means that we have to crack the whip, the law is very clear. It is a treasonable offense for you to run a program that is unaccredited or to even advertise it.
And Dr. Ahmed Jinapo is Deputy Director General of GTEC. The Office of the Attorney General is bracing itself to confront any further court injunctions from Assin North MP James Gyakye Quayson. His earlier attempt to hold the day-to-day hearing of his case has been shut down by the court. Now Mr. Quayson has filed fresh processes at the Supreme Court seeking an interpretation of whether a day-to-day hearing aligns with the concept of a fair trial as stipulated in the Constitution. However, Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tuanyeboa says the office remains unfazed, declaring their readiness to face Assin North legislator in court and any legal challenges that comes their way.
They have the right to go to Supreme Court. They can go there 10 times, 20 times. We are also ready for them. After all, when we go to court, we speak law. People may decide to engage in whatever political comments, whatever they may want to do, but in the court of law, it's about law. So if they are going to court to speak law, we're also ready to meet them in court to speak law.
Leadership of the governing New Patriotic Party says they will involve presidential aspirants in the compilation of the Special Electoral College register for the Super Delegates Congress. The National Executive Committee has been busy finalizing the list for the Super Delegates Congress expected to take place on August 26. Several presidential aspirants have raised objections to party's process for cleaning the Special Electoral College register. An aspirant, Kwabena Japon, says he expects the National Executive Council to resolve the concerns raised ahead of the Congress.
We don't want to touch this register that elected the national executives and the regional executives. That's what is happening there, because some may have been appointed from the polling station to become even a deputy officer at the constituency level. So he's moved. We don't want you to replace him there, because if you do so, we don't know how you're going to do that. And it lends itself to manipulation. So we want a very transparent and clear process. So,
but ahead of the National Council meeting, is your expectation that that will resolve the challenges? That
hopefully it should. Hopefully, because we are very close to August 26.
But Deputy General Secretary of the party, Haruna Mohammed, tells Joy News the party's leadership will involve the aspirants after a decision is taken by the National Executive Council today.
At the time we started, we did not open even nominations for aspirants to pick forms.
So after, now they've been vetted, and we're waiting for the bigger body to take a decision on the vetting committee's report. Post that.
Yes, they will be informed. They are very critical stakeholders in this election. And we intend to have a very clean and transparent election. We've just started with Greater Accra region. We've attended to almost all the constituencies.
And to some health now, 46 people get infected with the HIV virus in Ghana every day. That's according to a recent report by the Ghana AIDS Commission. To combat this, the Ministry of Health, in a collaborative move, has launched an HIV self-testing program to fast-track the country's attainment of the 2030 global targets on curbing the spread of the disease in the country. There's more in the following report.
Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Treme Echiahini, said the initiative will, among other things, fast-track the attainment of the 2030 global target on curbing the spread of the disease in the country.
By 2030, we should have diagnosed 98% of all persons living with HIV in Ghana, and put 98% of those diagnosed on antiretroviral treatment. And 98% of those on treatment should be supported to achieve viral suppression. That is what makes HIV self-testing very, very critical in our effort at achieving the 2030 target.
Meanwhile, Ghanaians have been expressing mixed reactions to the initiative.
Yeah, I think it's a good initiative. No, I'm not interested to try it even.
Carlos Caloni filed that report. Now to Tech Thursday, the relationship between poorly constructed roofs and high energy usage has been well documented. That means you're likely to use more air conditioners and fans with poorly constructed roofs. Fortunately, a PhD architecture student at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has therefore set out to design a roofing system that reduces the need for fans and air conditioners. Love FM's Chrissy Deborah speaks with architect Hugh Yao Deborah for Tech Thursday.
Architect Yao Deborah is leveraging color, certain materials and geometry to improve indoor temperature and minimize energy usage.
Now the issue is that roofs in the tropics receive the most intense solar radiation, and about 50 to 70% of this radiation is transferred into the indoor space to create the warmth that we are all running away from. So the aim of the research is to try to design a roofing system that would reduce drastically the heat that is transferred into the indoor space, so that in the net effect we do not depend on air conditioners any longer, and then we save energy. So at the end of the day, we want to improve the design of the roofing system, and that will impact or reduce the amount of energy we spend by way of electricity in indoors.
Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
And that's it for the bulletin. In our top story, Chief Director of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources refutes claims that government engages the services of land guards to assist in reclaiming encroached lands. Business is up next on the Super Morning Show.